What's up, guys? This is Tai Zen. I'm in Bangkok right now. What's the name of this mall?
The mall Bootcamp.
It's some mall. Okay, so I was looking for an apartment and ran into a random chap from the UK. I'm just going to refer to him as Bob. Okay, say hello, Bob.
Hello.
And I was asking about renting an apartment across the street from the shopping center here. And then he asked me about what I was doing when I told him I had been retired since my mid-40s. He was curious how I did that and if it's possible for him to do that and how he can go about doing that. So this is just a recording of me and him, me answering all the questions he has. Okay, so just go ahead and ask the questions.
Well, thank you so much for answering these questions for me. So I think my...
You know what I forgot to mention? The reason why I'm recording this is because this is the first time, since I retired, that someone asked me.
That's good, yeah.
How do you go about retiring early, right? Because I tell that to people and they just, I don't know if they heard it or they didn't expect it, but in Asia, when I tell people in Asia that I'm retired, they don't, that is so uncommon, you know, because you're supposed to work until you die.
Yeah.
In Asia, right? In the Western countries, I think you guys retire like around 60, 65, 70.
65.
Yeah, something like that, depending on what Western country you're from. But in Asia, you're expected to work until you die. You know, they talk about retirement and stuff, but really you just work until you die. You know, but so that's why I want to record this.
Well, yeah, thank you. And well, what would you say? Someone like me who has a job currently.
Yeah.
How would you advise me to manage the money I have left over from my expenses?
So there's a couple of things that you're doing that's so there's a couple of things that you're doing that's correct that you're not aware of.
Okay.
The first thing you're doing that's extremely important is you're asking almost the right questions.
Okay.
Which is extremely important because most people don't ask questions about how to retire early, and then when they do, they ask some of the I wouldn't say stupid or dumb, I would just say it's non-relevant.
Okay.
Like, you know, they want to go from Bangkok to London, but they're asking, you know, where's Easter Island?
Yeah.
Or they're asking, you know, what's the speed of the ferry boats here in Bangkok? Like, what's that got to do with you getting to London? You understand?
Yeah.
So at least you're asking almost the right questions. The reason why you won't know to ask the right questions yet is because you haven't retired yet.
Oh.
So you won't know to ask the right questions.
Okay.
So just be aware of that. But the next best thing is asking almost the right questions.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the first question you asked me was, how did you retire early, and is that something I can do?
Yeah.
Right? You ask, can I retire early?
Yeah.
What do I need to do?
Yeah.
So all those questions right there, right, are the right questions to ask. Most people don't ask that. Well, the questions that most people ask are, you know, what university should I go to? What school should I go to? What job should I get? How much do they pay? None of those questions lead you to early retirement. None. As a matter of fact, they have nothing to do with retirement. Right? What university do you go to? What does that got to do with you retiring early? Nothing. Yeah. What is the purpose of a university?
It's meant to further your education. I suppose, you know, it's meant to further your education, but not your, well, certainly in my case, not my financial education.
Yeah, the purpose of a university is to sell education. It's not to help you get a good job. It's not to help you build a good business. It's not to help you retire early. the purpose of a university is to sell you education, sell you classroom education and books, right? We know that because every year they change a different physics book, they change a different biology book. Why would you need to change books every year? Like the progress that we make in physics and biology and chemistry does not change that rapidly. You know?
Absolutely. Even when you said that, it made me think of these kind of almost like a new self-help industry has risen recently, and they are selling you information or knowledge, as it were, and they're going against the traditional forms of education.
Yeah.
But at the same time, some of the people also, I don't know who to listen to because they feel scammy or fake or.
Well, I would not say that. I would say that the majority of the education I agree with you that the majority of, like, there's a large percentage of people in the world that's the education model, that university taught model, it's not working anymore because technology and society and the economy is moving much faster than the universities can update their curriculum. That's the problem. So what you're talking about is that now we have independent educators out there that are educating, like you are an independent educator.
Sure.
Because like the people that are learning English from you can go to the school and learn it, but instead they chose to hire you to teach them because they want to get that knowledge and that experience faster. Right? So I can send my kids to the school to learn English. Why do I need to hire you as their private tutor for? The only reason why I hire you as their private tutor is I want to get the kids to learn English faster. And maybe better, because maybe at the schools, the local schools here, there's a Asian person teaching it, and because you're a native English speaker, I want you to teach them so they can learn the English correctly, right? So that's the reason. So these independent educators, right? I would say that the majority of them are, they do. Some of them sound weird and funny online when you watch their advertisings and stuff like that. But my suggestion is, I think that the majority of them are doing the right. They're selling you what they promise you. It's just that, what is it that you're looking for? So if you're looking for early retirement and you go get a dog training program or a piano, how to learn how to play piano or guitar program, I don't know if that's gonna help you. Like if you go online to buy a program on how to get six-pack abs, I don't know how that's going to help you retire early. So if you want to retire early, the only two paths that I know out of all the people that I've met in my life that retired early, they either did it through building a business, which is the most common one, right? And then selling that business, or that business produces enough income to where they can kind of like pretty much like semi-retire, because they have staff and employees to manage the business for them. Okay. Now the other one is so that's one, through building a business, and then the second one is through investing your money. So the money that you earn monthly, weekly, monthly, you take some of that extra money, and then you live within your means, and you invest that money into something that has a potential to grow exponentially. I'm not talking about like a savings bond, a savings or a bond that pays you 5-6% a year or 7 or 8% a year. Like in Vietnam, the bonds, the savings accounts pay like almost 7% a year, and then 7% a year, and then the bonds pay like 9.25% a year. Right? Now keep in mind their currency is not as strong as your currency. So the British pound or the euro or the US dollar. Obviously if it was, it wouldn't be gaining that much inflation each year. Right? So and then if you are like a temporary resident in Vietnam, then they'll let you buy bonds and stuff. But if you live outside the country, I'm not sure about that. But I know that because I invest a lot into Vietnamese corporate bonds, right? And so I've asked them multiple times for my friends, my foreign friends.
I see.
And one of the things is if you indicate to them, you show them that you are a temporary resident of Vietnam, then they allow you to buy stocks. You can open up a stock trading account, and in that stock trading account, once the government issues you a investor ID identification number, then you can buy and sell stocks, Vietnamese stocks, and one of the things they give you access to is the bond market. Yeah, so that's how you would do it.
Okay.
You know, just give me 1 second here. Hello? Hello? You hear me? You call me. Okay, yeah, yeah, that one's probably the best one I found. Looked at like maybe about 15 of them already, and that's that's the best one where I can feel safe that you can go shopping without me having to follow you. Okay. Okay. No, I need you to look online because I already asked them. They don't have any units. Okay. Yeah. So just look online at the Thai property and a few other places, and then just send me the links. Okay. All right. So. So there's two avenues. One is you build a business to either sell or produce income for you. Second is you invest your money into something that has the potential. I didn't say it's going to grow, but it has the potential for exponential growth within a short period of time.
And that's through, sorry if I'm ignorant on this, but that's what compound interest is?
No. Right. No. Compound interest won't do it. Like, for example, like if you buy like Vietnamese real estate, if you buy like, let's say, $100,000 US worth, and the government announces that they're going to build a hotel there, a school there, a hospital, just any kind of infrastructure, because the country is so young. You know, the country just got free from the war with the U.S. in 1975, and then it took them like 20 years to stabilize the country and secure its borders, right, before they can focus on the economy. So that didn't happen until like 1995, and then, you know, the people were so used to living under a socialist economy, they didn't know what to do the first few years. So it took about 5 years. So that's about the year 2000 is when, around 2000, 2001, after the dot-com boom, right? That's when Vietnam actually started to like really started to build their infrastructure and pick up the pace. So because of that, you can basically say the country is only like 20 years old.
Oh, I see. Okay. Literally from like 2000 to 2020.
Yeah.
And now everything is getting like bigger and bigger.
Yeah. So when a country is just starting to build its country, right? Pretty much anything that they do, that's why it has a 7% GDP every year. Compared to the US, I think it's like 1 or 2%. And compared to, I don't know what the UK is, but it's very low. Like the Western countries have a very low GDP. And that's the reason why a lot of the Brexiteers want to leave the EU and have taken that control of their own economy, right? So you have to get into something that has exponential growth. Let's say you buy some real estate in Vietnam, and they do something, any type of infrastructure that's near your land, now it goes up like 100% in 1 year. It could go up to 200%. It could go up 300% in 1 year. But now there's a problem with that. One is that you're a foreigner, so they won't let you buy land there. Right? And if you do, you can buy it for 50 years and you can only resell it back to another foreigner. So there's weird laws like that, you know, to protect the land, to make sure that the foreigners don't come in and buy all the Vietnamese land. Okay?
Fair enough.
Yeah, so it's fair. But so, and then the other thing too is that you need large amounts of capital. Like you can buy some like $3,000 pieces of land or $10,000 pieces of land, but then the government's not building infrastructure near that anytime soon. So you're sitting on that, right? So but first of all, let's talk about this. Building a business and building a business versus investing your money. Which one is easier? Which one do you think is easier?
So, if I knew how to invest, that in my head, as it stands, feels easier because you kind of just put your money in it and it works by magic. That's literally what I think at the moment. Whereas building a business feels more like you're working like 40 hours a day trying to get things off the ground. People don't even know you yet, so you're just pushing and pushing and pushing, and you're selling and selling and selling, and then eventually like you have something good, you know. So in answer to your question, investing appears easier.
Okay. Like I said, you're almost correct. You're almost correct, and it's true. Investing is easier than building a business, because building a business requires three like major skills. One is sales. Another one is marketing. Another one is operations.
Okay.
Yeah. So you need a combination of those skills to do it. So investing is taking your money and putting it into someone else that has those skills. So if like I'm not a good, let's say for example, I know I'm not a good sales guy. I know that I don't know anything about marketing. But you're building the Tesla car, electric car, and I believe that that's the future. So I'm going to invest into you. Okay. So that's what investing is. So either way, you're building a business. One is that you're doing it yourself. The other one is you're giving your money to someone else that you believe has more talent than you to do it.
Okay, so but in that case, then I feel as though they both go hand in hand, because I feel that having any normal job, unless you like earn, I don't know, let's say £70,000,
Okay.
and your expenses are tiny, and then you're able to invest all of that other money into something else, great. But 9 times out of 10, like I find that myself and a lot of other people, we might only have like, I don't know, less than 30% maybe left over or something.
Okay. So you're saying that if I only have 30% of my income, I'm only able to save 30% of my income?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it's a lot of money to invest, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So therefore, you should at least have some kind of side hustle or start building your own business so you can actually start to make money and not just earn money.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
Okay.
That's one way. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But here's what I tell people that the easier way and the faster way. The more I wouldn't say faster or easier. I would just say more efficient.
Okay.
Well, that would be the correct English term for it. Okay, it's more efficient. Okay, so right now most people, they go to work, they go to school, they come out of school, they go get a job, and they brag to their friends they got a good job, they got a good salary, and then at the end of the month, if they save 20, 30, 10, 20, 30% of their income, they put it into a savings account and earn 1 or 2 or 3%, or 1 or 2% in the Western countries, and in the Eastern countries, 6-7%, and then after that, they give a portion of their money to the government in hopes that someday, when it's time for them to retire, the government will take care of their retirement. Now, I don't know about you, but I have not seen anything that the government does that leads me to believe that they are a good steward of money.
Oh God, no. Yeah, like definitely not. No. I mean, even from back at home, the way that even like something as amazing as the NHS, our National Health Service in the UK, which I feel very proud and very protective of, and without our government doing some kind of investment, or at least putting money into it, to build it and to make it better and more efficient, as you say, it will go down, and we don't want that, so I completely agree with you, and that's just
Okay, but most governments that have run a retirement program for their citizens, usually they don't let you collect the money from the retirement until you're 60, 65, 70 years old. And then when you get to that age, right, you only have a few years left to live, and the amount of money that they pay for your retirement is usually like 50, 60, 70% of your income, your regular income. Like, so let's say if you originally made $100 a month, they'll give you like $50 or $60 or sometimes even less. They're not going to give you 100% of your income, but the cost of living goes up every year.
Yeah.
Right? So the cost of living goes up 2 to 3% every year in most countries. But they're only giving you 20 or 30% of the cost of living, or the monthly income that you used to get. So either way, I just you have been to many countries. Like, you and I can agree that there's not any government out there that knows how to manage money, invest money, because that's not their responsibility. Their responsibility is just to hold it as a savings for you.
Yeah.
Their goal is, it's not their job to invest that money for you and take risks for you. Hey, if you give them $100, they just want to be able to say that, you know, when you're 60, 70 years old, they want to give you that, you know, $100 back and say, here's your money back.
Yeah.
Right? So if you, so the first question you have to ask yourself is, you okay with going out there building a business?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. When I ask that of people, usually when they're 27, 28, 29 years old, if they haven't been building businesses yet, usually it's not in it for them.
Okay.
That's just what I've noticed. There's like, I used to train lots of athletes.
Oh.
Right?
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And if most athletes, by the time they're 16, 17, 18, you can see the genetic gift in them.
Okay.
Like, if you were meant to be fast and strong, by the time you're 16, 17, 18 years old, you're an older teenager, I can see that already. And most of the trainers can see that in you.
Right.
Whether you see it or not, they can see it.
Okay.
So it reveals itself.
Sure.
Like, it doesn't hide itself.
Okay.
You know, if you're genetically gifted to be a good athlete, it will come out. There's no way for you to hide it.
That is honestly fascinating, because I guess I hesitated when you asked me about the business question, because I think I'm generally like scared and fearful, I suppose, that I might make a mistake or go wrong or fail or lose money in some
yeah, and the entrepreneurs, they have less of that fear. They have it, but they're going to go do it anyway. And then that's what I'm saying, is that most entrepreneurs, they're already doing some type of entrepreneurship where they're selling a lemonade stand on the street corner, or they're running around with a lawnmower trying to cut everybody's yard.
Yeah.
So they're doing some type of entrepreneurship activity from an early stage on. They don't just wait until they're 28, 29, 30 years old and all of a sudden decide, oh, you know what? I didn't realize I had the entrepreneur bug in me, or I had the entrepreneurship blood in me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but like I used to teach art also.
Oh, okay.
Like, if you're a teenager and you sit in my art class, I can tell you after, you know, 1 or 2 drawings that I have you do, I can tell if you're gifted in art or not.
Wow. Okay.
It doesn't take that long, because if you have it, if you have that genetic gift to be a good artist, it will reveal itself. You can't hide it. So if you're a genetically gifted artist and you never picked up a paintbrush, you never picked up a pencil, you never picked up a piece of charcoal, you never even drew anything in your life, and I put all that stuff in front of you and I show you how to do it, if you're a gifted artist, right, it will show. Like, you cannot force yourself, like, oh, you know, I'm gonna trick time to think I'm not a gifted artist, so I'm just gonna draw really crappy. You won't be able to do that. Because your crappiest drawing will still be 10 times better than the regular people's drawings. So
no, it makes me smile, because you just mentioned about training athletes as well.
Yeah.
To be honest, like back at home, I was actually a professional dancer for 10 years.
Yeah.
Just about. And you know, like you say, you either have that or you don't, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a weird shift of identity, I want to say, for me, because like, you were talking about entrepreneurship and business.
Yeah.
And for me, as a creative and as a performer, there's less of that in our world.
No, it's that's not really. Yes and no. You're saying that there's less creative artists or creative people in the world. Oh, well, I think what you're saying is that there's less creative people getting paid to do to do creative stuff.
Yeah.
And is that what you're trying to say?
I mean, that's what happened to me. Yeah.
Okay, so that comes from. Okay, let me ask you this. Are there artists out there today, right now, that make over $1 million a year?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm a badass artist, how come I'm not making $1 million a year?
Because you don't know how to sell or market yourself?
Exactly. Because it's not because I don't know how to market or sell it, my artwork. It's because I never made any attempts to do it.
Oh.
And I never went down that route.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah. Huh.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
I never took the time to learn how to be $1 million artist.
Wow, yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah. That makes like mind blown, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, like my wife is a genetically gifted strength athlete.
Oh.
Does she know that?
No. Oh, well, I didn't.
No, she does not know that. She's just a girly girl. Has no idea that she's genetically gifted to be strong. But how do I know that?
You saw it?
Yeah, because I have trained lots of girls that are strong, lots of girls that are not strong. And she happens to be
one of the strongest.
Yeah, and when she saw me work out, when we first met, she saw me working out, and she said, "Let me try that."
She just did it.
And she just did some of the exercise that most girls would train for 2, 3, 4 years and still not be able to do.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, it's there, it's innate, it's in her character, yeah.
Yeah. But how come she's not winning gold medals and awards and getting paid to be a strength athlete?
Well, either, like you say, she hasn't like tried to do that.
Yeah, she never went down that route.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just because you are gifted at something, you might be gifted at dancing, I might be gifted at painting and at art and stuff. But if neither one of us goes down the path to monetize it, why would we become rich or become wealthy because of that gift?
Yeah. Again, it's kind of all scarily making sense, if that makes.
Well, because that's the reality.
Yeah.
Like the reason why Eminem or Lil Wayne or any of these Jay-Z or any or Beyonce, any of these hip hop artists are making $1 gazillion from doing their artistic stuff is because that's the route that they chose to go down. And then after that, they surrounded themselves with lots of people that knew how to help them make a crap load of money from that.
Sure.
So that's how they ended up where they're at.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a dancer or a professional dancer, right, and you're good enough to where you do that, then you need to surround yourself with, the right sales and marketing team to help, because you're the product now.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you are the product. Okay, so that's it. So back to what I was saying is that you have to be an entrepreneur or an investor.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I started out as an entrepreneur, and in some way I still am. Okay. But I know, after being an entrepreneur for over a decade, that I suck at it.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you line up all the entrepreneurs with guys like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos or just any of those top entrepreneurs like that, and they're at the top, and you go down to the very, very bottom, in the bottom 1% or 2% or 3% of entrepreneurs, you'll probably see me in that bottom. Okay, so I'm not in the top, what do you call that? Quartile.
Oh yeah.
I'm in the bottom. Okay, the bottom of the bottom quartile.
But even if you're at the bottom, so you would say, I mean, I don't view it that way, because you're in my head, you're successful. You've made it. You've
But just because I made it doesn't mean I'm good at it.
huh.
Okay, if you're the third string player, if you're the third guy to replace the starter, I don't know what they call it in the UK, but in America they call it the starter, and then they have the second string, like you're the backup in case the first guy gets hurt on the field. So you're the backup.
Is this like
For any sport?
Oh yeah.
Right,
Okay.
and then the third guy, they call it third string,
Oh, okay.
and the fourth guy would be the fourth string guy, right? So if you're the third string or fourth string guy, and your team wins a gold medal or the championships, did you win the championship?
Ooh.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the championship ring just like everybody else on the team.
Oh, of course, because you're part of the same
Yeah, 'cause
team.
you're part of the team.
Yeah.
But did you start the game? Did you kick the ball? Did you catch the ball? Did you do anything?
No.
Yeah. If the guy in front of you did not get hurt, then you don't play. You just sit on the bench the whole game. But if he wins the championship, do you still win?
Yes.
Yeah. You can walk around with the championship ring on your hand and claim, and legally and legitimately claim that you're on a championship team.
Yeah.
That you won the 2000 World Cup or the 2004 World Cup or the 2008 World Cup. And is that bullshit? No, it's not. Because you were on the winning team.
Yeah.
But does that mean that you're good at it?
Not necessarily. No.
No.
No. Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, just because I retire early, that doesn't mean that I was actually a good entrepreneur.
Yeah. Okay.
But it also lets you know that you can be a crappy entrepreneur
Yeah.
and still make more money
Yeah.
than a good employee.
Yes, and also like I'm just tired of having to go to a job every day that it's just like most people. I just want change. I know there's more to life than just worrying about money, worrying about where it's going to come from, what's going to happen.
There's nothing wrong with worrying about money.
Sure.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Okay, because even when you make a lot of money and you retire, you still have to worry about your money. So that's not going to go away. But what you don't worry about, well, I think that what you're worried about or what you're stressed out about is not because of the money. Most people say that, and I used to say that too.
Okay.
But what you're really stressed out about is that you don't see no end in sight. Like you're working, you're making this income each month, you're able to pay for your bills and your living expenses, your food, your coffee, and everything, But when does this end? Like, when can I stop going to work, or when can I go to work on my own terms?
Yes, right? Exactly. It's also like just something with a bit more purpose and meaning. I guess I know that's different for everyone, but it's still hard emotionally and mentally.
Yeah. So. So right now, once you determine that you're going to be I recommend most people take the path of being an investor, because most people, they have a job, and they're not just going to quit their job and go be a full-time entrepreneur. And yes, you can start a side hustle. Some people call it a side hustle, a side job, or a startup on the side.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what I'm just saying is that if you had no internal desire to build a business, to be an entrepreneur, to have a startup before you met me today, then I would say that was not part of you. It was not inside Bob to go out there and be an entrepreneur. It was not inside Bob to go start a startup. It's just like for example, and especially when you live in a society where you know about it. Like if we take somebody out of the Amazon jungle that doesn't know anything about entrepreneurship or something, and he's 30 years old, and then we sit down and we show him what entrepreneurship is for the first time, and he goes, hey, I want to do that. I want to build a business. I want to be an entrepreneur. That makes sense. But you come from a developed country, and you have been to lots of major cities around the world, so you are familiar with building a business. You see people building businesses around you. You're familiar with working for businesses. You're familiar with entrepreneurship. That's like if you hear the word entrepreneur, you're not like, what's that? right? Like if somebody builds a business and they sell their business, you're not shocked by that. Like you know what, you have been around that environment, right? And if you've been around that environment for 20-something years and it never dawned on you to start up your own business, then I would say it's better if you go down the investor route.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that advice, to be honest. It makes me feel better almost, to be honest.
Yeah, because most people are not cut out to be entrepreneurs. Even me.
Yeah. Okay.
But my desire because I knew that there was only two ways to retire early is either start a business or invest money. If I had to do it all over again, I do not think I will be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I guess then, like, in that case, then, to me though, investing seems like a whole like education in itself.
Yeah. So you have to get educated on how to be a good investor.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, if I was to be an entrepreneur again, right, I would surround myself with people that can do the parts of entrepreneurship that I don't know how to do not want to do, or don't have time to do.
Okay.
And not good at doing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would just focus on the sales, and then I would let somebody else handle the accounting, the financing, and the operations.
Okay.
Because that's the only part of being an entrepreneur or building a business that I'm good at is the sales part.
Do you find that quite fun as well? Because when I was working in the UK as like a salesman, that was the funnest part for me. It's the part that I liked, definitely.
Yeah, I like doing sales because I like getting people the products they want, and to me it's a win-win. I get paid to help you pick the product you want.
Yes, and it's also you're getting the client from their problem, and you're giving them the result.
Yeah.
Now they don't give. I don't feel as though they really care how you do that, but they want it at a good value, a good price, and does it get them there quickly as well?
Yeah.
So I have a good. I like to think I have a good foundation as to what people really want.
Yeah.
And how we buy as well. It's all an emotional thing, really.
Yeah.
The numbers change all the time. We just bought these coffees or the camera or whatever. So I know exactly.
Okay, so then if you decide that, hey, I'm going to go down the investor route, which is the route that I recommend most people, right?
Yeah.
If they want to retire early. So now there's a few, let's call it investable products.
Okay.
That the obvious one that everyone knows is stocks.
Yeah.
Gold.
Okay. Yeah.
Silver. That's like precious metals.
Yeah.
Right. And there's commodities such as coffee, soybean, wheat.
Okay.
Rice.
Yeah.
Oil, natural gas, right? So, any of the commodity products or any of these things, you pretty much invest onto, the technology is available now to where you can just do it online.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go buy barrels of oil and stock it in your garage. you just go online and you buy contracts of it.
Yeah.
So many hundreds of barrels at a time, and then you sell it when it goes up in value. So there's different ways to do it, but the two things that you want, one of the things that you want to look at when you invest, right, is something that you can put a little bit of money in. So let's just say you have 10,000 pounds, 10,000 euros, 10,000 US dollars, just any of that. And let's say that you can put 1 or 2% of that money into that investment. Okay? Because you don't have a lot of money, right? Under $10,000 is not a lot of money. So if you put that much amount in, so let's say that you take $200 out of your 10,000 US dollars. You take $200 of it.
Okay.
And you go buy that Tesla stock with it. Okay. Now, what's the potential for that to go up exponentially? Now, it just went up from like $200 in about $180 in the last like 3-4 months, 4 or 5 months, something like that. It went from $180 to almost $1,000.
Right.
Is that exponential?
To me, it is. Yes. Yeah.
Any time that in trading and investing, it's called multiples. So like if you invest $100 and you invest it into land, into anything that grows, and it goes to $200, well, you have $100 of your principal and then $100 of profit. So that's considered 1x.
Okay.
One times.
One time.
X means times.
Yeah.
One times your money.
Yeah.
Right? If it goes from 100 to 150, that's only a $50 profit, so that would be 50% profit.
Yeah.
Okay, so but it goes up to $100, then it's 100% profit, or like in the world of exponential investing, like when you invest in things that go up like crazy, then that can be considered 1x.
Okay.
And so most people, they invest in things that only go up like 10%, 20%, because that's what they're used to. They don't realize that there are products out there that you can invest into that will grow 2x, 5x, 10x, 20x, 100x, 1000x.
Wow. Okay.
But is there a risk with that?
Yes.
Yeah, the risk is that you lose everything.
Yeah.
And is that worth it? Is that worth it to take that chance?
I mean, right now I say yes. I think
Yeah,
it's worth
it is. Like when you don't have a lot of money, right? It's worth it for you to take a small percentage. Like if you have $10,000, if you invest $200 into, let's say, Tesla stocks, and it goes to zero, does that $200 kill you? Does that hurt you? Does it ruin your life?
No.
No, it doesn't.
No.
But if you're right, and it goes up 4x, and that $200 becomes $800, right? Is that a game changer?
Yes.
Yeah, it is, because you just, instead of waiting 1 year at a time and earning, like, let's say, like in the West, instead of earning 1% a year or 2% a year, like how long would it take you to grow your money from $200 to $800? Yeah, your whole lifetime you won't even get that, right? Yeah. So now you grow that to $200 to $800. So now you have in your account $10,800.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens if you take that $200 and you buy you one Bitcoin back in 2014?
You would, but didn't that go up like something ridiculous, like 400% or something?
Yeah, it went from $200 to $20,000.
Yeah. It was,
in like 3 years.
Yeah. It was ridiculous at the time. I remember.
So if Bitcoin goes to zero, did that $200 loss kill you? Did it destroy your life? Did it ruin your life? Did it break up your relationship with anybody?
No.
It didn't kill you at all. It ain't gonna hurt you, and you're not gonna miss it.
Especially it's a good amount, $200, because I mean, Lord, like I think I've had evenings in London.
Yeah.
You know, just spending $200 probably on like alcohol and club entries.
Exactly. Yeah. So you've spent more being stupid.
Yeah.
Right. So if you invest into something that could be life changing, why would you be afraid to do that? So if you would have gotten like, and let's say that $200 became $2,000, how many X's is that? Well, from 200 to 1,000 is 5x.
Yeah.
And then multiply that 20 times.
Wow.
That's 100x.
100x, yeah, literally 100. Yeah. Wow.
So your account just went from 10,000, add another 20,000 to it, and now you have a $30,000 portfolio.
Yeah. I see it. I see it right? As well, yeah.
Yeah. So you got to take the money that you earn from your current job, whatever it is that you currently do right now, live within your means.
Yeah.
Right? Don't. When you're young, you can afford it. Trust me.
Yeah.
You can afford to sleep on the floor. You can afford to eat, rice and pork every day, or rice and chicken every day. It's not going to kill you, right? So, in English, I think they call it "suck it up," right?
Yeah.
So, and just maintain a low cost lifestyle. I'm not telling you like you gotta starve yourself. I'm not telling you that you gotta go eat trash or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, eat quality foods that nourish your body, but then don't go crazy like spending $200 on alcohol when you can be, investing that $200 into Tesla stocks or Amazon stocks or Facebook stocks.
So because I've been reading and sort of watching videos on the subject recently,
Yeah.
It seems so ridiculously easy and simple, and yet, if that was the case, like why is it not easy and simple?
Because, that's a good question. It seems easy on the surface. Then, well, what is it that's making it hard for people? Well, let me tell you something. Most people in the world do not want to make money. That's the reality.
Why? Okay, so one that makes no sense to me.
Most people are content going to work, getting a paycheck, and coming home, and they are happy with it. Their mouth says that they're not happy, they're unsatisfied, but the reality is they're happy.
I see.
Okay, because if they weren't, they'd do something about it. Like, I was not happy with it. That's why I got off my ass and did something about it.
Because it feels to me as though it's this strange averageness. To be average, like mediocre.
Yeah.
You know, like fair play. If they are happy, and if they are, then cool. Like, I'd rather someone be happy.
Okay, listen. In every field that you go to, there's going to be, the majority of them are going to be average.
Yeah.
You agree? Like, if you go to soccer, there's going to be a few guys that just excel, and they make millions and millions of dollars. Even in pro sports, you got guys that make millions of dollars every year, and you got the rest of the team that just make average. Right? Like in American sports, like you take, like, let's say one football team that they have like 60 players on the American football teams. Only 2 or 3 guys make 10, 20, 30 million dollars, and I think they're allocated like $30 million a year for each team to make it fair. I forget the number, but it's something like 30 million or 60 million, whatever the number is, right? If it's 30 million, just think about it. Like 2 or 3 guys make like 70-80% of that, and the rest of it is the other 20-30% is distributed among the rest of the players.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So in the world of money, remember this: a winner takes all.
Yeah.
Winners takes all. So if you don't want to be a big winner, if you don't want to be a winner, then just settle for being average. Like that's it. That's all you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So if you go to work from 9 to 5 every day, that salary that you get, no matter how good you think it is, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And if you want to retire early, you have to do something that's not average. Because if you do that average thing, you're gonna get the average results.
Yeah, because I don't want to. Yeah, because you have to do something different than the 99% of people who are already doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Yeah. So the question you're asking me is that it sounds easy, then what makes it hard? Well, what makes it hard is because when you invest that $200, more than likely you're going to lose it.
Okay. Right.
You're not going to hit an Amazon or a Facebook or a Tesla or a Bitcoin on your first shot.
Sure.
Unless you're just lucky.
So are you saying it takes practice?
No, it's not that it takes practice. Yes and no. It takes multiple attempts.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cause I always paint the, like, let's call it like stock or investing is like this, almost like this strange magic bullet.
No.
You know what I mean?
Like there's no secret to it.
Yeah.
You take a small percentage of your money, you invest it into different things.
Yeah.
So maybe you put $200 on Facebook. When you said, hey, you know what? I'm using Facebook. They're growing at 1 million people a day.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't this stock go up?
Yeah.
Right? Let's just say you say that.
Yeah.
And you said, you know what? I'm willing to make, instead of spending $200 on stupid alcohol this weekend, I'm willing to make a $200 bet that someday this is going to be 10 times worth 10 times more.
Oh, okay. So I like that analogy. You're almost betting on yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of going get drunk with my buddies this weekend, I'm going to take this $200 and go bet it on this guy that's building a multi-billion-dollar company.
Okay. I like that. That's a really good analogy.
Right? Yeah. Me and my friends are going to go goof off and get drunk, and this guy's working his ass off to build a multi-billion-dollar company and get, try to get half the planet on his using his software. That's worth it for me to make a bet on. And if I'm wrong, who cares? That $200, I drink that much in one weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's what you got to do.
I see. Okay. I think as well. I think it's also literally just starting, as in, like, do I have to open multiple accounts accounts? Do I like just pick something from random? It seems
no. It usually helps if you do it in an asset class. For example, stocks is an asset class, bonds is an asset class, precious metals is an asset class, commodities is an asset class, and then cryptocurrencies is an asset class. That's the newest one. So you gotta pick one that you understand. Like I understand them all because I've traded them all and invested in them all, but the one that I'm focused on currently are cryptocurrencies only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I have witnessed it go up 100x, 500x, 1000x.
A lot of people, or certainly people who have done this sort of thing before, they do talk a lot about real estate as well, but you haven't mentioned it yourself.
No, I haven't mentioned real estate. It's one of the asset classes. The reason why I don't mention real estate is because, do you know of any real estate that goes up 10x or 100x in less than 5 years?
No.
No.
I don't.
Yeah, so that's not, and the other thing too is that when you have very little money, the other thing that you need to be aware of is what's called liquidity. Liquidity means how fast can I get in and how fast can I get out.
Okay.
What's the average time to buy or sell a house in the UK?
The average time?
Yeah.
Months, I think. Yeah.
In most Western countries, it takes about 3 months. That's fast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's definitely fast. Like I remember when my mum was selling her house, it took us like 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Whenever the assets that can go up 5 or 10x, right? That has the potential, that are capable of doing that. How long does it take for them to do that?
I know it could be like less than a year or something ridiculous.
Yes, it's less than a year, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. And if it goes up, you have to be able to click a mouse and sell it.
Right, yes. So.
And if you can't, then you're not able to lock in that profit.
So again, like this is going to sound really.
No, just ask. Just ask.
So, when you're saying I just sell my stock, right?
Yeah.
So that $200 that I put in, am I selling my full $200?
Usually no.
Right.
Usually whenever it skyrockets and there's a huge spike in price, normally you would just lock in like half or 2/3.
Okay.
Because you don't know if it's going to keep going or not.
Yeah.
Like Tesla goes up to 1,000, you don't know if it's going up to 5,000. So if you sell everything, then what happens is emotionally you will be destroyed.
Yeah.
You won't be able to live with yourself.
No.
So so I've done that too many times already. So I'm telling you, when that happens, you sell like half or 2/3.
Okay. Okay.
So that you still have a piece on. In other words, you still have some skin in the game. So in case it goes from 1,000 to 5,000, mentally you're not gonna go crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes more sense now. Yeah.
So like right now, if I was starting today with nothing, then I would take the first thing I would do is calculate what's my living cost. So let's just say that, for example, you live in Bangkok, even though you're from the UK. Let's say that you live in Bangkok and your monthly expenses. What's your current monthly expenses to live the current lifestyle that you currently live right now?
Okay, 35,000. But
translate that to pounds, euros, or dollars, so that people understand it.
Sorry. So I would say then approximately £600.
£600. That's about $700 US dollars.
Yes.
Okay. So let's say that your monthly expenses are $700 US dollars, and just so the math is easy, right? And your income is $1,000 a month.
Yep.
So you have an extra 300.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you have to do is, each month you save up 300. Each month you save up 300, and then you figure, since you're single, no girlfriend, no kids, no nothing. It's only you.
Yeah.
Right? So the question is, what's the longest period of time that you ever been in your life unemployed? Like where you could not get a job, like you were trying to look for a job but you couldn't get it. What's the longest period of time that you were looking for a job but could not get a job?
6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll use myself as an example.
Okay.
The longest time that I ever went without getting a job, and now I'm looking, okay? I'm not sitting on my ass at home doing nothing. I'm going out, beating the bushes and looking for a job, okay? So the longest period of time I remember is like maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like if I want a job, I'm gonna get it. I don't care if it's, scooping shit or scooping up dog shit for people, I'll do it. I'll do whatever it takes to make money. Okay, so the longest period of time that I ever went without a job, that I was unemployed while looking for a job, was like 2 or 3 weeks. So because of that, I only need like a 3-month, what's called a 3-month cushion, or a 3-month runway, or a 3-month savings. So I would take the $700 and times 3, which is $2,100, right? And I would always keep that cushion in my savings account.
Okay.
No matter what I do.
Like a emergency fund?
Yes.
Okay.
Like an emergency fund, so it doesn't stress me out, because I know within 2 or 3 weeks I'm gonna get a new job.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So in your case, you said 8 months, right?
Yeah.
So I would just round it off to a year.
Okay, 12 months.
So yeah, so take a year, 12 times 7, 10 times 7 is 7,000.
Yeah. So about 7,000.
So another 2 months is 1,400. So 1,400 plus 7,000 is 8,400.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So just round off to 8,500, just so that it's easy to remember. So you would need to set aside 8,500 US dollars, or the equivalent in pounds or euros, and just leave it there. You don't touch it. Right? You can be starving, you can be in the hospital, 911, and you still don't touch it.
Okay.
That's to pay for your living expenses.
Okay.
Okay? And then anything above that, that's when you would take it and invest it.
Okay. Okay, right. So there's like a first initial step, like before you even think about it.
Before you do it, you have to build up a cushion so that mentally you're not stressed out.
Yeah, of course, because right now, obviously, as I stand, I don't have any cushion.
Yeah, you are not ready to invest shit
Right.
if you don't have a cushion.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you do invest into Tesla, and you buy Tesla at 200, the minute it goes up to $220, you'll sell it, because mentally you don't have no cushion, you don't have no savings. So you're gonna be stressed out, like, oh man, what if I don't pay rent this month? I'm gonna just go ahead and sell these stocks right now. I'm gonna go ahead and sell my Bitcoin right now. So you never let the money work for you. So you gotta go out there and you gotta put away some cushion first, and then that gives you confidence. That proves to yourself that, hey, you know what? I can manage money. Like, I'm capable of, when money comes into my life, right? If you demonstrate to the universe that you are able to keep money and manage money and grow money, then more money will come into your life.
Okay.
But if you're 27, 28 years old and you don't have $1 in savings, then you have demonstrated to the world that you are not capable of holding on to money, growing money, or investing money, or managing money. So there's no reason for money to flow into your life.
Yeah, I can believe that. Absolutely,
Yeah. So I run into people all the time that want to give me money. They want to give me $100,000, $500,000, $1 million to invest for them. I'm like, no, not right now.
Okay.
Why? Because I have clearly demonstrated I know what to do with it.
Yeah, right. Sorry, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have demonstrated that you know how to spend money.
Yeah.
So some other guys want to go get drunk, or just go party and have fun and spend their money. Then what do? They'll come get you. But if they want to grow that money, who do they come look for? Me. They're not going to come look for you. So you have to prove that to yourself first, that you are capable of doing that, right? And you don't have to be the best in the world at doing it. Matter of fact, you can be the shittiest investor. But if you just follow simple, like if you just take if you just take a small percentage of your savings to invest into something that you believe that can grow exponentially, okay?
Yeah.
Then that's worth it to do.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And you might invest in like 10 different things. You might put $200 into Tesla, $200 into Facebook, $200 into Amazon, $200 into Cisco, $200 into Aramco, the oil company, British Petroleum, just Lehman Brothers, I don't know.
Yeah.
They can go bankrupt, but it's okay. Out of those 10, as long as 1 or 2 hit a 10x or a 20x or a 50x, you're okay.
I see.
Because you're going to make up those losses and have some more.
I see. Yeah, absolutely.
And you got to do that multiple times.
Right.
So every 3 to 5 years, you should hit that 10x or 20x a few times. If you're constantly planting those seeds, those investment seeds out there, it's going to hit. Not all of them are gonna hit. The majority of them will not hit.
Okay.
The majority of them will not do shit, except you're gonna lose everything.
Okay.
You might as well, if it goes down to $50 or $10, you might as well say, yeah, I lost everything. But just have that mindset going in.
Right.
But all you need is one.
Yeah. And then that will make up all the other losses anyway, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And so how do you
And then when you make that money, what do you do with it?
reinvest it?
You're damn right.
Yeah, reinvest.
Now you got more bullets. You got more shots to take more shots.
With bigger bullets as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. So now instead of using a $200 bullet, what do you use? A $500 bullet.
Oh, yeah, or even $1,000 bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. Okay. And what about then? So again, so these 10. Let's call it the 10. The portfolio that I have. Now, let's say again, like so 8, like I lose everything.
Yeah.
When people say that they've lost money on the stock market, so I put in my 200. I lose because the stock goes down to zero?
They lose. Most of the stocks that you invest in, they should be like in the top 500. Like the S&P 500 stocks or the NASDAQ 100 stocks, right?
Yeah.
So the chance of them going to zero are very small, but that doesn't mean that it cannot lose 90% of its value.
Oh, okay, thank you. Right.
Most of the things that you invest in will not go to zero. The chance of it going to zero are very slim.
Okay.
The chance of it going to zero is about as much as the chance of you hitting 100x.
Oh, okay.
Right? But can it lose 90%, 80%, 70%? Yeah, then that's common.
So again, I buy this stock at a certain price, and it loses 90% of value.
Yeah, you might as well write that off as a loss.
Even if it goes back up, I still lose?
No, if it goes back up, it's great, but there's a reason why it lost 70, 80, 90% of its value. Okay. This is a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
Like if Facebook loses 90% of its stock value right now,
imagine, man.
Like something's wrong. And it's like if it's just happening one day, we can say it's a technological glitch or there's a communication issue or some technology issue. But if it does that over a year, 2 years, then that lets you know that's, hey, you made a bet, it didn't work out. Move on.
Okay, cool. Right, that also now makes more sense as well.
Yeah, so usually I've noticed it takes about 3 to 4 shots, levels.
Right.
So let's say you start with $10,000. You place a $200 bet here, a $500 bet here, a $200 bet there, a $300 bet there. You're gonna hit on a few of those, and it'll take your account up to anywhere between 50 to 100,000 US dollars. And then once there, now you're taking a shot with a bigger bullet. The percentage is still the same. It's still 1 or 2% of your portfolio, but it's a bigger shot now. Now you're betting with like $500 or $1,000.
I understand. And surely as well, some stocks are not even, you can't even buy them for $200. That's correct as well, yeah?
No. The price of the stock does not matter that much.
Okay.
Yeah, because a $100 stock goes up to $200, that's still a 100% gain.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
A $10 stock that goes up to $20 is still a 20% gain.
Right.
Yeah, so don't let that, you're looking at percentages, you're not looking at that, okay? So now, you do that, this time you're betting like $500, $1,000 bet sizes.
Yeah.
One out of those 10 is going to hit. And by that time, you're going to have more experience. You're going to realize, man, I'm not going to invest into a company where the founder of that company is an alcoholic.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what, the next time I invest into a stock, I want to make sure the founder's not that cocky and say something stupid and get those fines like that and then cost the company all the profits in paying fines for saying that.
Yeah.
So you will learn along the way, is what I'm saying.
I understood. Okay, and so essentially, the practice is simply just buying and selling stock. Like that's.
Well, right now I would not buy any stocks.
Okay.
Because that's not the hottest asset class.
Okay.
That's not. Cryptocurrencies is the hottest asset class.
I understand.
So I would go in there and I would buy like $200 worth of Bitcoin. Like the top 10 coins that are real cryptocurrencies. Some of them are bogus cryptocurrencies, but the real ones, I would buy like 200 of them.
Right. Okay.
And then I would just wait.
Yeah, so with the waiting, you mentioned briefly that it's about 3 to 5 years before you really see...
You don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If anybody tells you they know when something's going to go up, they're full of shit. And if they can tell you for certainty, like, hey, this bond is going to pay you 7%, or this savings account, if you know when, those two things, when and how much. How much and when.
Yeah.
If somebody can answer that to you definitively, then that means that that's not something you want to touch. That's not exponential growth.
Okay, right, yeah, fair enough.
Because there's no risk.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, put your money here in this bank. At the end of the year, you get 7%. What's the risk?
Well, there isn't.
There isn't risk. You just wait 12 months. At the end of the year, you know how much you're going to make.
Yeah.
With stocks and with cryptocurrencies, you don't know that. You don't know if Bitcoin is going up to 20,000 this year or 200,000. And you don't know if it's going to be in 1 year or 10 years.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense, yeah.
So anytime somebody tells you to invest in this because it makes a lot of money, you ask them how much and when. If they can answer those two questions or one or two of those, don't touch it.
Wow.
Because you want something that's high risk that can go exponential. And the only things that can go like that are things that you don't know when and how much.
And would you say that you have quite a high risk tolerance yourself?
No, it has nothing to do with... I can say that, but the reality is you don't have to have it. You just got to do correct math.
Okay.
You just got to say, hey, if I put 10... Ty told me that, you know what? The odds are that 9 out of 10 times I'm going to be wrong. So if I bet this whole $10,000 on this, before I get my first 10x, I already lost all my bullets.
All my bullets, yeah, okay. Yeah, because that's what it always seemed like to me, like, it was almost like, again, going back to your betting analogy, because in a stock market, it's still a gamble, as you say, because you could lose everything.
The difference... So some people, I really don't care what you call it. You can call it math, probability, you can call it statistics, you can call it gambling, you can call it whatever you want, but that's how investing works.
Sure, yeah,
okay? So the only difference between me and you would be like, I have more experience, so instead of getting 1 out of 10, I might hit 2 or 3 out of 10.
Sure.
And I have a larger bet size, because I've been doing it longer. So not only do I have a higher number of wins, but I also have a larger size wins.
Yeah.
Okay? So nowadays, my wins are big enough that when I win, I don't have to work for 20 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, each time I win, I don't have to work for like 5, 10, 20 years, like big chunks like that. I'm not talking about like not having to work for 1 or 2 months.
Yeah, but I guess that's it though, isn't it? Like that.
But it takes levels. Like I told you, the first level you'll get up to like, if you start with like around $10,000, the first level you'll get to where between like 50 or 100,000, and then you start taking bigger. Your bullets are bigger. You still take the same trades. You still makes the same investments, right? But the bullets are bigger. The odds are still the same, but the bullets are bigger. So instead of taking a $100 shot, you're now taking a $1,000 shot, right? 10 times 1,000 is 10,000. 10 times 100 is only 1,000, right? So now, when you get to like around 100,000, you do that a few times, and you capture the right assets. They go up 10, 20x. Then your entire portfolio might jump up to like 3, 4, 5, 600,000 pounds or euros. And at that time, then that right there, you if you do it right, you can pretty much retire around that area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And am I right in thinking that some companies also, if you buy their shares, that they just pay you dividends?
No. Okay. Let me ask you, what's the 2 questions that you have to ask yourself before you put your money into anything?
How and when?
Yeah. How much are you going to make off those dividends?
I don't know, sorry.
They usually tell you.
Oh, sorry.
It's like 4 or 5%.
Okay, thank you.
And when do you get paid those dividends?
That depends as well, doesn't it? It can be every
quarter or the end of the year.
Yeah.
So what did you just answer?
Oh, because I answered both questions.
Yeah, you just answered both questions. You have answers to those questions. You don't want to invest in it. You want to invest in stuff where you do not have the answers to those questions.
Aha.
Like, ask me how much profit I can make from Bitcoin.
How much profit can you make from Bitcoin?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Now ask me, when will the price go up?
When will the price go up?
I don't know either. Nobody knows.
No, and you're saying that anyone who tells you that they do know.
Huh?
There's
nobody that knows.
No,
If
yeah.
anybody tells you they know, they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what you want to invest into. Why? Because whenever you do not have the answers to those two questions, how much and when will it go up? That's when the potential for exponential growth is there.
I see. Okay. So someone in my position who currently doesn't have any savings or a cushion.
Yeah. You gotta get that first.
I have to get that first.
Before you do anything.
In that case, then, would you say literally to put all of my leftover money into that?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Cool. Okay.
Like when I first started, I had no money, man. Like I was sleeping in like a small apartment. I was sleeping on the floor. I rolled up my jeans as my pillow. I was using my jacket as my blanket at night.
Wow.
The place where I worked at, I would take one of their plastic cups and plastic spoons home every night because that's what I use for my utensils.
And in that case, then, what would be your recommendations on living within your means and saving money?
Yeah. Living within your means means that, like, for example, let's say you make 1,000, right? And let's say that you already live within your means. Like 700 is your expenses each month, and that's the lowest you can go, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, for first of all, what's you can split a room with somebody.
Yeah.
That's one way,
yeah.
Right? The other way is you hey, you take the bedroom, I'll take the couch.
I see.
You pay 60% or 65% of the rent because you got the room. I'll sleep on the couch.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You bring a girlfriend over, let me know an hour in advance, I'll be out of here. And you might laugh, but you know what? You got to do whatever it takes.
I must admit as well, rent is my biggest one-off cost every month as well.
Yeah. So hey, I'll do whatever it takes. You know, I'm not, as long as you're not doing something unethical and illegal, whatever it takes. Right? And people used to think I was nuts, but they don't think I'm nuts no more now that I'm retired.
Yeah, exactly. You're living like nobody else, so that you can live amazing later on. You know?
Yeah. So the people that are real friends, they're not gonna laugh at you anyway. Yeah. The ones that do laugh at you for going to the extremes to reach your financial goals and live the life that you want to live, those bastards don't need to be your friends anyway. Who cares? So either way, it's a win-win.
That reminds me, you mentioned surrounding yourself with, I guess, good or like-minded or better.
Yes. So you want to go to like the investor conferences, investor meetups, okay. just to be around other people that are investing. So you cannot find everything. Like you cannot find like every investable product. Even if you invest in stocks, there's thousands of stocks out there. You don't know it all, right? And you might live here in Thailand and may not know that startup is booming. You may not know that. You may not know that the Grab share buying app is huge. So you got to go out there to other investors and put your ear on the ground and listen to the markets. You know, hey, what are you looking at? What companies are you looking at? What stock? What are you investing in nowadays?
So literally just asking people what they invest in as well. Okay.
If you go to an investing conference, there's hundreds and thousands of people there that are investors. What do you like to invest in? Gold? Tell me why. Just keep an open mind. Tell me why.
I see.
And you ask them those two questions. How much do you think gold is going to go up? It's $1,600 an ounce right now. How much do you think it's going to go up? Right? I don't know. You let the person tell you?
Yeah.
You know? What about silver? You know? Gold, you know, a lot of people that invest in gold also invest in silver. How come you're not investing in silver? Right? You just keep an open mind and you listen to what they're doing. And you want to listen to the guys like me and not the guys like you. Why?
Well, because you've already done it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you've already made the money as well.
Yeah. You know, and the guy doesn't have to retire. If he's bought 1 ounce, if he's bought 10 ounces of gold already, he's bought more gold than you.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If he's bought 10 ounces of silver, he has bought more than 10 ounces of silver than you.
Sure.
Right? But you don't want to ask the guy that has not bought 1 ounce of silver yet.
No.
No. Like I don't like to invest in silver because it doesn't go up exponentially. Right? Now ask me how many kilos of silver or how many ounces of silver have I bought?
How many ounces of silver?
I've bought several kilos already.
Oh.